So the last faction and the creme de la creme of the new armies in Dust is the Cthulhu, the Mythos forces you can see right now in front of me. These are the free miniatures you get in the Mythos monster box, the first summoning, which is super cool. Just look at these guys, just look at these spawns, at this avatar. These are one of the best miniatures I ever saw in my life, and well, I deal with these things for a few years now, and the quality of them is absolutely stunning. This is such a big miniature. Look, this is my hand. So you see, this is as big as a hand, and I'm a big boy. I have big hands. So I'm gonna have some close-ups for you right now, but these are super looking miniatures. Even one of them is flying, as you can see. He has this flying stand, but he is flying. You don't have to put him anywhere. He's already in a cool position because he's already flying. You don't have to do anything. You have already these miniatures in cool positions from Dust Studios as usual. So maybe it's a small size comparison. Let's borrow someone here. Oh, Joe, you are good for this. You face the Cthulhu now for the US Allied Army. This is Joe. You see how small Joe is? He's like, oh my god, I'm not even as high as his fucking legs. These are gigantic miniatures and are super quality. Some of you would ask, what the fuck Cthulhu is doing in Dust universe? So the answer is that Cthulhus have come, they were awakened. The more info about this you can find in the booklet that you get in the monster box in the first summoning. So inside you get these free super huge quality miniatures. You get this booklet in which you have tactics and some details on all of the units inside. There is a special platoon for these guys also. For those of you that don't know how platoons work, these are some special abilities that are unlocked, that are given to you when you take your army selected units. So if you have these three monsters on the battlefield, they form a platoon and then gain a very nice advantage because the enemy cannot shoot them with sustained attacks. I cannot say anything more. There are some restrictions to this, but it's in the booklet, so when you buy this box, you can see for yourself. So we got the free miniatures, we got cards for all of the miniatures with the new Cthulhu colors, with the new faction logo, and we got super cool new dices with the Mythos faction symbol on it. They are a bit smaller than the dice we used so far, but they are nicer thanks to it. I really like rolling them. It's like one out of 100 smaller than the old ones, but they are super cool thanks to that. Feel better in hand, in my opinion. But what this faction stands for, so I don't want to spoil a lot for the persons that's gonna read from inside the booklet, but they were summoned in a way to our world, and they have a very mighty enemy to fight against, and the fight is gonna commence on Earth. Everything else you want to know about this, you need to read. I don't want to spoil it. Faction-wise, these armies, we can already see, gonna be focused on very powerful, very expensive, highly armored units. So the spawns are armor 5, and each of them has 9 health. That's more than any armor 5 unit in the world of Dust so far. And Avatar of Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos, has 7th armor and 11 health points. That's more than even a bulldog, or that's more than a devastator or a punisher, the heaviest walkers we can see on the game, on the planet of Dust. And to add to it, the avatar also has the damage resilient ability. So removing these monsters from the battlefield gonna use a lot of firepower. And what is super cool about this army, what makes me super excited, is that in Europe, and especially me and some of the most dedicated players here, we focus on tournament game. That is nothing that's a secret. A lot of Dust happens in the tournaments, and we have guys that very like to make tournament-focused armies that are very efficient, maybe not very fluff-focused, but very good on the battlefield. They like winning simply. And this army, this super heavy armored Mythos army, gonna destroy, in my opinion, the tournament meta that we have right now. Because right now we have a lot of activations with a lot of light infantry and light walkers that have high firepower. And these units gonna shred through any tournament army we had seen for the last few years, because you need to start thinking differently differently because you're fighting a force that has a lot of less activations than you, and you're fighting a force that can make you hurt a lot. You fight against a force that can kill 3 or 4 of your units if they are used properly in one activation. And you don't usually have this lot of firepower because heavy armor units weren't popular on the tournaments, and these guys are gonna be good for tournaments. They're gonna break the meta. They're gonna force the players to change the way they think because they're gonna force them to use more anti-tank, anti-armor weaponry that has high damage to heavy armor targets. So this is gonna change a lot. I'm hoping for. This is what we need for that. This is a very cool thing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys on tournament. So of course, 3 big monsters is not enough for an army, but just to make you happy, these 3 units are already 81 army points. So you just need to add some mercenaries if you want, and you have a 100-point fighting force, and the mercenaries are cheap. They give you a lot of activations and help you don't get overrun by your enemy. And in this year we're gonna have a starter set for them where they're gonna be cultists, and we're gonna have cool, super good looking cultist models. You could see already some, and you should be seeing some now because I'm gonna put some images of cultists into the video. And with this, I'm hoping cheap cultist and a new starter set, this army gonna really shine on the battlefield. So let's focus on these guys, what we have here. So we already know they are heavy armored, we already know they have a lot of health. So the spawns of Cthulhu also have the first strike and charge ability, which is super cool because they're only armed with claws. But as you can see on the card, they have a lot of dices. Each claws, they have 2 hands, so they have 2 times the claws. Each claw can attack a different target. Each has 4 dices against infantry units, and each has 2 dices against enemy armor and deals a lot of damage. What's even more cool is that they are flying and they can hit airplanes. Can you imagine that? There is an hexe flying over the battlefield, and suddenly a Cthulhu monster jumps on it and slams its gigantic claws into it. This is uber cool, and I'm very excited about this army fighting some Luftwaffe forces. Apart from these abilities, the spawns also have the same ability that the avatar. They are Mythos creatures. Mythos creatures? I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly. Anyway, this makes them immune to suppression, so you cannot suppress them, you cannot make them suppress. They won't lose action. There is no way you can suppress these guys. They are not scared. They don't care about how much bullets you fire. They're just gonna go for you and grab you with this scary claws of them. And they're also immune to critical hits. Well, that's partly logical. You cannot have them damage turret, but on the other hand, it would be super cool if you could shoot off a hand of a spawn and then oh, I lost one of my claws, I need to cross it out because the hand is not here. But they are immune to that. You cannot suppress them, you cannot have critical hits on them. So the spawns are very good assault units with a lot of dices, which move fast on the battlefield and have the charge. So basically you move 5 and attack with your close combat weapons because they don't have any ranged weapons. Super cool. Now let's go for the avatar, because this is where the fun begins. This guy is very heavily armored, as I said, has 11 health, and apart from his claws, which have the same statistic like the spawns, he also has the Eldritch Fire, which is basically a super powerful vehicle flamethrower that I guess he shoots from his mouth in front of his enemies, which gives you 2 explosions against all targets, kills armor units up to armor 2, and has 2 explosions against infantry, which makes you roll 10 dice against 5-man squads, and each of these dice kills instantly because there is no saving from the fire. Eldritch Fire is a flame weapon. That means you don't have cover, you don't get any saves, only the most resilient can save you. What is hit is removed from the board and you're suppressed as in the same moment you're hit by this weapon. Apart from this, and being Mythos creature and being damage resilient, the avatar has one super powerful ability that's gonna make a problem, and there is gonna be a lot of thinking about how to counter it or even how to use it, because it's the Scream that hits every unit in range 3, no matter the cover, no matter the line of sight. If you're in range 3 of the avatar, you're gonna get hit by this noise of psychic energy that destroys your brain. What's even more cooler, the psychic energy attacks everything around. It's 1 per game, of course, because it's super powerful, so it cannot be more often than once per game. And the heavier your armor is, the heavier barriers you have around you, the worse it gets for you. Because when you're on a motorcycle, on some light truck or a light walker, then the walls around you are not so bad, the psychic scream goes away. But imagine you're in a Devastator or in a Königslutter, you're around you, there is a lot of this armament, there is a lot of metal, and there's this crazy scream that drives through your ears. So the higher your armor, the more damage you're gonna take. This is uber cool. I like this so much, how the design team thought about this. I haven't noticed it before, but I think I have seen this card as part of the playtesting. But this is such a fine, nice addition to the fluff, that the more armor you have, the more you're gonna get hit by this ability. What's the minus of this ability is that it also damages your own units. So once I have it deal 4 damage to my own spawn because it was too close. So I'm gonna ask myself a lot of times in the future, should I make it move and then use the psychic scream, or should I make a match, have hope I can withstand the power that my enemy is gonna attack me with, and then make a sustained attack in the next activation? This is a big question for this army. Okay guys, I think I talked a bit too much today. This is gonna be a long video, I guess. I showed you 3 new factions for Dust 1947, and that's just not mentioning all of the old units we had released and we are releasing right now. Remember that all of the old units are still playable in Dust. We never cross out any of units. They still have their cards, they still have the statistics. You just need to buy the deck box for the cards and you are good to go. So either if you're thinking about starting Dust, if you have already an army, or you haven't played for 3 years and you want to come back, this is a great time for Dust, and I'm hoping it's gonna get even better in 2018, because we have high hopes, we have super plans for this year. You can start a new super faction, continue playing your own against these new amazing armies we have right now that I talk about. Okay, I think that's enough of my talking for today, because my throat is getting sore. If you want any of these models, be sure to check War Factory EU, our site, for all of the Dust models you're gonna need. If you have a local game store that you would like to carry Dust, that you would like to play in and buy your models, let me know in the comments, or contact me on Mark War Factory PL. This is the way to contact me, to say me, hey Mark, please contact these guys, I want to buy Dust from them, because we handle distribution for Dust in Europe. So if you have any other questions, or if you have any movies you would like me to So if you have any other questions, if you have any other things you would like me to make movie about, just post it in the comments. I'm gonna try to make this channel more active. I'm gonna try to make more videos, as much as this job of presenting you and selling these great miniatures allows me, of course. And that's all for today, folks, then. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon on this War Factory channel.